Hello everyone, happy Friday, and welcome to a new video. Yay, I feel like you're so crooked. How's that? So today's video is very exciting because it's basically just a video where I can fangirl about some books that I think other people should really read because they're really great, at least I think they're great. Today I thought I would share some great contemporaries that I've read recently. So the first book that I would like to talk about is The Two Lives of Lydia Bird by Josie Silver. Go away! She's so cute. Look at her cheeks. The Two Lives of Lydia Bird is about this 28-year-old woman named Lydia. On her 28th birthday, her love of her life, Freddie, tragically dies in a car accident. Basically, the story is her trying to get back to a normal life without this person who had such a big place in her life. Basically, with the help of her sister and Freddie's best friend, I believe, she tries to get some normalcy back. Meow! Meow! What do you gain from this, really? The first thing that I want to say about this book is that it is not a romance. What? It is not a romance. Not at all. A lot of people, including myself, went into this book thinking it was a romance, but it wasn't. The synopsis kind of makes it feel like a woman who lost a love of hers, and while trying to cope, she also falls in love with another person, and that's the story. That's not the story, in my opinion. I love this book. I actually listened to the audiobook for this story. I actually listened to the audiobook for all these books that I'm going to be mentioning. Haha, I just realized that. The audiobook, for one, was just beautiful. It was done so well. Like, I'm not joking. Like, the second it ended, I was like, oh, I have to listen to that again. I loved the character of Lydia and seeing her grow. It's definitely a difficult read. I loved Lydia. I loved her family. Family plays a huge part in this story. Sorry. So the next two books that I have to talk about are the first two books in a trilogy. That is the Front Desk Trilogy by Kelly Young. The third book is going to be coming out September 21st. Yes, September 21st of this year, and I'm so excited for it. This series basically follows the amazing protagonist, 10-year-old Mia Tang. The basis of this story is set at the Cala Vista Hotel that her parents begin working in. The main subject of this series so far for these first two books, racism and immigration. It's a middle grade, but it tackles these heavy subjects in such an amazing way. It's not at all dumbed down because it's a middle grade. It's telling you the hard truth. I think anyone of any age can enjoy this series and the subjects that it tackles. When it comes from the perspective of a child, you know, children are innocent, and a child having to figure out that some people truly are awful human beings. It hits you in such a different way than reading it from an adult's perspective. Characters I absolutely adored. I loved Mia's friends in this, and just seeing her, she's such a confident young girl, and I absolutely love that. I just loved her character. I loved her perspective on things. I just adore her character. I adore the other characters. I adore the family aspect, and meeting all the guests in the motel was fantastic. The next book that I have to talk about is the most recent, I think, book by Kelly Young, the author of two books that I was just talking about, and that is Parachutes. This story is about these two girls, Danny and Claire. Claire is basically sent by her parents to go to the US and study abroad. She is put into the home of Danny and her mom. It is a very difficult read. I'm going to immediately say there is major trigger warnings for rape, sexual assault, racism. This book, I really don't think I should say any more than what I just said. That Claire is sent abroad to the US to study. Danny is her new host sister. They don't get along. The events that go on kind of intertwine them together. Speak enters the world of Gossip Girl in this modern immigrant story from New York Times best-selling author Kelly Young about two girls navigating wealth, power, friendship, and trauma. That's all you need to know. Go pick it up. Go listen to it on Audible. The next book is This Train is Being Held by Ismay Emile Williams. Yes, This Train is Being Held was a book that I have never heard of, and I just randomly saw the cover and I thought, oh, cute. I was instantly reminded of Every Other Weekend, which was a book that I read last year. This story is about Alex and Isabel, and they constantly meet each other on the subway for the span of 3 years. Isabel is a half-Cuban girl who lives with her mother, who is depressed, and she's basically trying to chase her dream of becoming a dancer. Alex is Dominican American. He is basically dealing with his controlling father, who's basically pushing his son to play sports, while Alex is basically wanting to go to college and pursue poetry. While I don't think this book is a 5-star personally for me, I do think it's a book that more people would enjoy, and I don't feel like it's talked about enough. The story tackles racism and police brutality, so trigger warnings for those. I enjoyed how the story balanced the romance and also the struggles that both characters faced with their families. I feel like with books like this, it can either go one way where it's really insta-lovey, or it's a very slow burn for the romance. I feel like it was kind of in between. It wasn't instant love, but it wasn't necessarily a slow burn. I think you could say the characters had chemistry. Even though I liked the romance, I wasn't in love with it. I don't know how to explain that. I'm extremely picky with romance in books, so it's very hard for me to actually say, I loved that romance. I've only ever felt that way once, and that was in Every Other Weekend. I think a lot of people would love this romance. It's just, again, I'm just really picky. I'm not quite sure why. The author did well. Oh, the joy. And work on their... I had to catch it, sorry. To see them both work on their families and help work on their families was great. It was great. I will say the ending drama, I felt like it didn't need to be that dramatic. The ending is very dramatic, and I felt like the rest of the story was pretty chill, you know, it had serious moments and stuff, but at the end it was just like, woo! Soap opera-esque. The next book is one of the first books that I read this year, and it is When Stars Are Scattered by Victoria Jameson and Omar Mohammed. This story is basically a biography of Omar and his brother Hassan. Hassan and Omar are Somali refugees. This audiobook, I 100% recommend the audiobook. But the audiobook is full cast. It has sound effects. So you are so immersed. I actually keep trying to get my mom to listen to this book, but she has yet to do so. Mom, please listen to this audiobook. Thanks. It's such a needed story. So this person in this review, I think, summed it up really beautifully. It's the full package that I loved, but in the end, it is the story of 2 boys living in a refugee camp somewhere in Kenya, having fled the war in Somalia. It is not just a book that talks, but one that plays beautiful Middle Eastern music, one with many voices, even that of goats and birds and water and children running. I heard the sounds of laughter, of tears, and of anger. It was all a new experience for me. A book like that of old-time radio, but so much better. That is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed my major rambling. If you have read any of these books, please tell me what you thought. I hope you guys have a great day. I will see you next Friday. Bye-bye.